inside, so you could like, if you wanted to buy something, you wrote down a price on a slip, and then they came inside for the total of the slip. That's it.
Someone want to do me a favor and log in on
See, you get a handler out there that just gone.
Yeah, because that was the person writing the slip. I think it was usually Sean and Eric.
Also, I'm not positive, but audio might be coming through, but shouldn't be. I don't know.
Can anybody hear us? Is audio coming through? We're unsure. Did you hear the part about how this is the least we've planned for an event or a stream?
That was
Well, did you hear that now?
yeah.
Audio is definitely coming through.
Weird.
That was weird.
So,
Hey, everybody.
so hold on. I gotta diagnose this because otherwise we're gonna have an echo because nothing is coming through on OBS audio.
Since all of you at home can hear this, if you have any tips.
So,
There's no sound on Facebook.
Well,
should be. Maybe it takes longer.
Yeah,
No.
Facebook's delay was a little longer, but
November 28th.
Well, Kyle says we sound good, but we don't sound right because,
we're not supposed to sound at all.
yeah.
that ain't right.
Is it something to do
Okay.
with... Oh,
I think. Okay. So,
it's been a long time since we've streamed, friends. And, you know.
okay.
Is it possible the laptop mic is on?
So I thought it might have been that. I think what it is Restream is on its own capturing the USB device audio outside of OBS capturing.
Oh.
So I think I was supposed to set up the virtual audio. But I didn't see that option. They changed the interface. So
If you disable the input on one of the platforms, would that be?
right, that's what I'm trying to think. So I guess if I okay. So I think I just want to from Restream remove the audio device then.
Okay.
Because from OBS. Because right now, so like this is what we have going out to Restream.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's no audio. But what's happening is Restream in audio settings is capturing the mics.
Okay.
So my thought using OBS when we go live, I'm also gonna just remove this
It literally doesn't matter.
because Restream is
Restream's
still
still
capturing.
Might be
It removes my ability to do any mixing, but I'm not doing that anyway. So
You can always
Mine were already
mix from the
yeah.
interface.
So I think that's
So there's more room
okay.
for-
Well, we will try that. Kyle says our music is very loud, and it's chill hop. So come on, I turn it down a little. Okay. All right. So you're ready to try to go live and see what happens?
Sure.
All right.
All
Should be
right.
live.
Which is only slightly different than before when we were not live and the audio was coming through, right?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, friends, to the first time we've done this in a good long while.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got a raffle planned for you this evening. And to say that we have it planned is, yes, is perhaps...
That's a generous statement.
Yeah.
But we are going to be generous with prizes.
Yeah.
Hey!
See, I feel like I should host a morning show. Or
You
something.
really should.
He's like a wacky.
We got like 6 people behind us drinking beer and eating pizza, and we're gonna get some of them on this camera at some point in time. We've got Nick manning the. Nick's had no beers. Just
Just excited to be here.
yeah, just glad to be part of it.
They
Steering
are
the
our
great ship
human
Superscript.
soundboard.
Yeah, we're gonna have requests for them over the course of this
Triple
show.
Police Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, half the party here is named Nick. So
So anyways, so what we're going to do is we are going to raffle some stuff off tonight. If you participated in our free RPG Day celebration or the Madison Sidewalk sale, you may have gotten some raffle tickets to distribute into different baskets or buckets rather for different prizes. And we're going to award those prizes tonight. Do you need to be in the stream to win? No. I bet it'll be entertaining because like I said, we've all been drinking. But we will email you if you've won something, provided that when you signed up for your Superscript account, you gave us a real email address. If you did not, well,
so sad.
you'll never know. But
Yeah.
And we will. You know what?
We're giving away prizes.
We are giving away prizes, everybody. And also, we're going to talk. We're going to do what we did last year and talk about some RPGs that we like. Or mainly, I'm going to talk about RPGs that I like, and other people talk about RPGs they like. Beckett will not be here to vehemently karate chop the table while doing so because he's at home with the kids. But he's greatly missed because this is very much his night. Huge thanks today to Beckett for running great events and all of our DMs, Daniel and Randy. You guys had really great stuff, and it was really nice just to see the store full of people playing RPGs. Also, huge thanks to Sean, who's not here because Sean worked an incredibly long day and then is going to open the shop again tomorrow and work another long day. And to, well, the rest of the people I would thank are all in this room. So they will, you'll see their faces at some point in time.
Eric Bros gets nothing.
Eric Bros is dead to me. No, no, Eric's great. Eric,
Thank you, Eric.
Eric,
I thank you.
Eric got a different job, which is working out real well for him. And we're like, hey, we need you to one last job for the great ship Superscript. And he came back and remembered how to do everything, which if I don't come to work for like a day, I forget how to do a lot of that stuff. So, thank you, Eric.
So what's our first RPG, or should we do a prize first?
We should probably start with the prize, right? Yeah,
I
we'll
agree.
start with the prize.
Let's start with the prize. Kick it off with a prize.
Okay, what do we got? Let's see. I want to start with something that has the most tickets. I'm just kind of laying these out. See, this is great television, I know. Oh boy. All right, let's start out with the Pathfinder Mosswood Goblin.
All right.
We have 2 Mosswood Goblins. Could one of you off camera grab some tape out of the drawer so we can tape the tickets of whoever wins these so we know who to
contact. But there are 5 goblins to collect.
Yeah, and it comes with
they
6
have
weapons.
Fantastic names like Licktoad,
Or Thistletop.
Thistletop, Bird Cruncher, or 7-Tooth.
Or Bird Sea Puncher.
Bird Sea Puncher, potentially.
Also,
You
one
let us know.
of the 6 weapons is just a pickle. This is great. All right.
Yeah.
So
High quality.
we'll have 2 different winners. You can't win twice for the same item if we have multiple copies of it like we do for the Mosswood Goblin. However, if you put multiple tickets into multiple different buckets, you can win as many times as we pull your name, unless we decide by fiat to stop doing that, which is our right and imperative. And if you complain about it, We'll
We'll
never
have
do a raffle
rules.
ever again.
Yeah, we'll have
Ever.
rules and regulations for you to sign next time.
You will be entered in the anti.
Real quick, of the the anti-raffle, it's kind of like
Yeah.
it's like a Justice League crossover. It's Grant Morrison wrote it, the anti-raffle. One more thing, I forgot to thank somebody. I want to thank all the other businesses that participated in the sidewalk sale today. That was great. Specifically, Lakewood Art Supplies, who kind of got the whole ball rolling and put this all together. I think anybody who shops here knows that we love Lakewood Art Supplies, and if you paint miniatures, boy, do they have a lot of stuff that is like helpful, like wet palettes and pretty broad brush selection. Also, if you like into making comics and stuff, they also have stuff for that. So we sell final products. If you're into the making of things,
Got a
Very good
comment in
stuff
the
for
chat. Kyle Wells would like in on the anti-raffle.
the anti-raffle is like we just divide by 0, and then Batman goes back in time,
Yeah.
and he wins a Mosswood Goblin. You have to read the 13 tie-ins to understand why that's significant. But
One of them is 3D.
Also, I have to tell everyone, Bunkmaster B has heard the chat.
Woo! Welcome.
you're going to be making Grant Morrison jokes, and it's coming to set me straight.
Mhm.
All right. Christine, do you want to raffle off the first Mosswood Goblin?
First goblin goes to
Boyer's also in the chat, and he's here.
well, it goes to Matt McGreal.
Matt McGreal.
All right,
I really hope we're
congrats.
saying that right. McGreal. It's penmanship.
Yeah.
Who's got the tape? The tape that was requested.
Boyer.
Nick Boyer. Nick Boyer, who is both standing behind us and taping the prizes.
All right, Elliot, who gets the next goblin?
This is an email address, which were not the instructions.
Someone with the last name Scholes.
K.A. Oh, I remember this young woman. K. Scholes. Can't remember her first name for the life of me, but she was a new customer stopping for the first time today, and she has won a Mosswood Goblin. You,
Yay.
Congratulations.
Ms. Scholes. All right. Cool. Well, for those of you who wanted a Moblin, I am sorry that you did not get a Mosswood Goblin. You want actually?
They're going to good homes, though.
Yeah.
We promise they'll be well cared for.
Yeah, and if those people don't come pick it up, maybe next year.
But yeah.
Still want that. All right. What do you think we should raffle off next year?
Well,
Maybe
should we-
something that ties into us talking about an RPG.
sure.
Cool.
Dice. Dice are used in like every RPG.
Yes, I meant maybe some of the ones that we have like props to. I'm talking about, but love about dice.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for that question. I don't know what
None of
I
us are prepared for anything tonight here in Superscript Comics and Games, as it would turn out.
I thought we were going to talk about an RPG next.
Yeah, I'm going to figure out how to segue into it from Hey Dice. But
Which RPG has the best dice?
which RPG is the best? That is Dungeon
Best
Crawl
use
Classic, which is not an RPG
Yes,
I
it's
picked
true.
for us to talk about. I think we're already committed to dice, Ryan, but we'll get to that next. Thank you. So we have 3 different sets of metal dice produced by Ultra Pro. We are going to raffle off 2 sets of these metal D6s with the world famous Dungeons and Dragons ampersand. And then we are also going to raffle off this entire polyhedral set.
Cool. Good prizes.
Let me find.
Heavy metal.
Yeah.
Make an impact on the table.
I do have a potential good prompt from the chat. Favorite new RPG this year?
What is everybody's favorite new RPG this year? Well, not everybody. Most of you are far away from the microphones. I can't say Star Trek again for the 3rd year in a row. So, because that would probably be not new. Let me see. That is tricky.
Did Strata come out this year?
Strata, I believe. I mean, Strata did, but it is also it's an expansion for Spire. We'll talk about that at some point.
The Root RPG.
The Root RPG, I think, is like a big contender.
Yeah.
Although you may have played the Quick Start every year from previous free RPG days, the final games will come out this year. Ryutama is a contender. However, that has been out for a while. I just think it's like U.S. debut. Was Ark this year or last year?
I think it was last
year. We didn't like any RPGs
No.
this year. We
All the
hated
good
them
ones came out last year.
No.
Well, you know, we're like
Oh!
before.
Troubleshooters is a really good one that I like this
Oh.
year. We can talk about that at some point. It's a Modifius one. I think Mouse Ritter is a strong contender, and if Beckett were here, he would be jumping up and down, yelling Mouse Ritter probably. And the Origin is a big one for me, which we'll talk about at some point in time. Nick, did you have another one?
I don't know if I do.
Well, Nick's gonna think about it.
Okay, yeah, I'll think about it.
Yeah,
Good question though.
I think this year more than anything, I was excited for releases for existent RPGs. And that tends to be my thing too, because I think you can play a lot of new RPGs and learn a lot of new systems and take a lot of things for them. But I kind of like to. A lot of people
Get
have
deeper
their
into
systems that they love running games in, and I have mine. But anyways, let's give away some metal dice. This is a good question from who's that?
From Kyle Wells.
From Kyle
All right,
Wells.
Thanks, Kyle.
Good question.
All right. First set of dice. This is for the D6s. Lauren Garcia.
Lauren Garcia, you have won a set of metallic D6 dice at a retail value of $30.
Woo.
Pricey dice.
All right. Let's see. Another set of metal D6 dice. Alan Smith. I think he left for Puerto Rico like today, but they'll be here when you get back. Congratulations.
All right. The polyhedral.
I don't want to be responsible for this.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. I will take responsibility for this. Alan Smith. Oh, you
You
can't
can't win the polyhedral set, unfortunately.
Matt McGreal. Again.
Yeah, McGreal.
Congrats.
Again. Stacking them up.
Yep. Yep.
The new Bo Schultz.
Yeah.
You mean Bo
Bo
Reddington?
Ready. No, Bo Schultz.
All right.
No
That's
one
that.
ignores
That's the dice.
Yeah.
And I
don't
think
want
with
to
that-
shake
All the same.
I'm going to exit the stage and allow someone else to join.
Don't you leave me here.
I won't. Okay.
You can leave me here. It's fine.
Well, you won't be alone for long.
That's
Someone
you
can
don't know that.
come stand very near me to take the seat. I think.
Take the seat.
It's a hard sell. Nick Boyer, how are
People
you?
like
I
standing
am,
near
I
me.
am good.
Glad to hear it. All right. So what do we think we should raffle off next? You got a preference?
You know what? People like the Star Wars.
People do like Star Wars, I have heard. Although some people
Well.
are very, usually the people who like Star Wars hate Star Wars. They can't decide. They're torn. They're conflicted. Reynolds is off. Mr. Reynolds is off screen right now, losing his
Everyone.
mind. Just gonna start calling you by your address and full telephone number.
His social security number is.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
Kyle Wells says Age of Empires is a lot of fun.
Yeah. So this is. This uses the Genesis engine, the Fantasy Flight Genesis engine, which is quite cool. And one of the designers, I believe, is local to like Northeast Ohio.
I think that's
the Genesis engine. He's shopped here a couple of times. He's a Rocky River resident, I believe. His social security number. He lives out in cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
I don't know how this ends up being my job, guys. All right. So, anyways, but yeah, this is really cool. This comes with everything you need to start playing, and a sweet full-out map of the Millennium Falcon, because why not? And yeah, 3 to 5 players, 1 adventure book, 1 rule book, an introductory sheet, a map, 4 character folios, 14 custom dice. This game does use proprietary dice, which we do sell at the store. 8 Destiny tokens, whatever those are, and 35 character tokens, which are miniature standards, I imagine, and 5 vehicle tokens, which I think you can kind of figure that one out. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find the thing. That's the Empire. All right. Nick Boyer, you've joined us on the stream, which means it is your turn to decide the fate of who this goes to.
All right. I wonder if the Star Wars is. Shannon Sullivan.
Shannon, hey, we know Shannon. Shannon designed our logo and now owns Star Wars: Edge of the Empire.
Congratulations.
Hey.
Thank you, Shannon. Who is now taping things now that we've?
Yeah, I've abdicated my duty and
Oh no.
You just walked away from the tape.
Bo Schultz, ladies and gentlemen, taper extraordinaire.
Sometimes. Okay, I just literally cut my nails this morning. Okay, just stow it.
Nick, do you wanna trade Nick Kratzis? Do you want to trade off so we can have both the Nicks? on
Sure.
at once
Oh
and
yeah.
Talk about some
Only if you think
RPGs.
the stream can handle.
Two
Yeah.
Nicks. I don't know. I want to
Yeah.
test it. I want to
Yeah.
know.
Let me.
We
Grab,
could get 3 Nicks on here. It's possible.
I'm gonna grab
I don't
another.
know if we can handle the
I'm
power.
gonna grab another beer.
Well, while Nick's grabbing another beer, this is going to be the point in the evening. Oh, boy. Whoa. Where we talk about some RPGs. So I'll talk about some stuff. Have you ever heard of The Spire or just Spire?
I have not.
Oh man, you would love this. This is very up your alley.
That's true.
In that it is largely about capitalism.
Love it.
So I'm just gonna read the descriptor off the back. You are a dark elf. You've sworn in blood and sacred shadow to destroy your oppressors, the Aelfir, high elves from the frozen north who have claimed your homeland as their own. Spire is a mile-high metropolis, and you hide in the crumbling temples of its lawless undercity, in its labyrinthine tunnels, rotting hole in reality that festers at its center. Your masters, while away their days in opulent cruelty and glittering sunlight far above. Spire is all the world you have ever known, and it must fall. So you are a bunch of dark elves trying to take out the high elves who live in the top of the structure that is kind of like a Mega City 1 sort of thing. It is cyberpunk, but is like very focused RPG, and I'm finding lately that's like a thing that I get really, really into. Yeah, you like veins of Shadowrun. There are elves, and there's technology, and there's Metropolis. But
it's a mix of cyberpunk and fantasy.
yeah, exactly. But I like a focused RPG these days where it's like kind of, your character is the decisions that you're making about doing a thing. So if you are, not everything has to be this like, oh, you can do anything, you have any options. Like this is an RPG in which specifically your options are kind of limited, and you have like one real focus, which can be cool because you can kind of dispense with a lot of the
analysis paralysis.
Yeah, the analysis paralysis is a good way to put it. Or like why are we all doing this? Like the constant need to justify why every character is involved in every portion of the story. It's a pretty fun game to run. The system is really good. This book contains all the rules you would need to run a game of Spire. And then the thing I think came out this year, I'm not positive, but if it didn't come out this year, it came out last year. It did win an Emmy this year. Is Strata. So this is an expansion for Spire. It includes 2 new classes, a load of extra advances, which are kind of like feats or like subclasses almost. And then it's got a bunch of scenarios for if you are running the game. So I think Spire and Strata are like just really inspired and awesome and inspired. Yeah.
No.
But yeah, that's one of my thank you, Mr. Reynolds.
It took a minute to get there, but I got it.
But with that, I'm gonna sub out so you and Nick can talk about the RPGs which Nick's like, whatever those.
Yeah.
are.
Nick stuff.
Wow.
Well, oh, yes. All right. Oh, God. Okay. Here we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Nick Power.
yeah. So let's see. What should we do next? We
We'll
want
go
to go
from
Spire.
We went from one fantasy cyberpunk mix to another.
Yeah. Yes. Let's.
Shadowrun.
It's time to
Shadowrun
raffle.
tarot decks.
Yes. I am very. I really like the art on these. Do you? Or did you ever get into tarot?
I've never been into tarot, but I've been looking to getting into Shadowrun. I know they have an actual system that uses tarot decks.
In
Which
the
is
game.
yes.
In the Shadowrun game.
That's why
Uses
they
tarot
are
decks.
branded.
That makes sense. Cool. Well, even if you didn't play the Shadowrun RPG, you could also use these to
Yeah, they're straight up a
Tell
tarot
your-
deck.
tell- learn about your life like you do in tarot, but this has sick Shadowrun art. So yeah, let's raffle these off. See who will get these. Oh, Shadowrun Tarot. We've got 2 to give away. 2 tarot decks. I don't know. I'm very curious how these compare to the standard tarot deck.
First winner is
Oh, God.
okay. They
Oh,
don't get it.
they've
'cause
cheated.
They cheated.
They had 2 tickets.
Two tickets just stuck together.
That's in the anti-raffle.
My roommate Justin Wells.
Hey!
Woo.
Yay! Maybe you'll get to do you play Shadowrun? Maybe.
We'll find out.
Maybe you'll start.
We did just get another RPG group together. We're going through a bunch of them.
More?
It's the plan, at least. Another 2 stuck together.
Oh man.
There's
Gotta
only
separate.
one name on it, but
Oh yeah.
it's a
still.
bigger
Yeah.
it's a bigger ticket. This where's a grand?
Yeah. Oh,
Brock C?
Rock close.
Rock close.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
I think so. Nice.
You did have a tremendous
Congrats.
amount of tickets. Congrats.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I'm not on mic
Nice.
anymore. What am I doing?
yeah. Nice
Congrats,
job.
Brock. 2 people I have
Jeez.
interacted with in the past week.
Awesome. Let's see. What else is this? This is all the stuff we're supposed to chat about.
Yeah.
Potentially?
They are options
Let's
to be chatted
see.
about. There are 4 piles of books.
We can talk about rifts. We can
Yeah.
talk about Nick Boyer. Have you ever seen rifts before?
Yeah.
I've not seen
Let's blow your mind here.
I have a very limited knowledge of various RPGs.
So, I have a fondness.
Okay,
for
no, I
rifts.
see a book on the back
Oh,
that I have definitely played before. One of the weirdest games I've ever played. Heroes.
Heroes Unlimited.
Heroes
Oh,
Unlimited.
okay. Yeah, Heroes Unlimited. Elliot and I played that at a very young age, and it was a very complex system.
Yeah, complex system that is
And-
not balanced at all.
No. All I remember about it is my superpower was I could turn into mist, and I would do that, and then when I would turn back into human form, I wouldn't have any of my clothes or equipment, and so it was just always a bad time. And then I think there was one adventure where you put like the layer we were, trying to get into. The guy had these like ventilation chambers that like blasted air. It was like specifically designed like anti-mist power. I was like, what is this? Like, what are the chances he would have anti-mist person security
It's a
system?
rogue gallery.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's Heroes Unlimited, which uses the Palladium system that Riffs does. This is the Riffs Ultimate Edition. Very nice book. Nice production on this thing. Riffs is a game I would not necessarily recommend for the gameplay system, but I would recommend for the setting of Riffs, because it is a setting in which rifts have opened up in the world, and interdimensional beings and vampires and dragons and cyborgs all live in the
Harmoniously.
chaotic
The opposite of.
world.
I say,
And yeah,
No
so you can just do anything. And if I could just show you some of the amazing art in this, I probably won't be able to find the right page in time, but there's some incredible art. It's just so good. I can't describe it. The big robots are called Glitter Boys, and
I'm gonna start calling
they're
myself
look, there's big spider mechs and vampires, and there's all kinds of stuff. Anyway, there's dog boys, dog people. It's good. Riffs.
What do you like
Also-
about playing riffs?
So that's a good question. Christine asked what I like about playing Riffs. So what I would recommend, if you are intrigued by the setting of Riffs, which again is excellent, I would recommend getting the Savage Worlds riffs, which we carry. So Savage Worlds is a system that is designed to be setting agnostic. I've run it as a fantasy game, or I've run it as riffs as well. But anyway, they make Savage riffs, so you can play riffs in the Savage Worlds rule set, which is nice and quick and simple, and has some fun mechanics like dice that when you get the maximum value on a dice, you get to roll that dice again, exploding dice. And sometimes you can get that twice or 3 times in a row and you just keep going, and it feels awesome. It's got you use you get to roll more dice. You get to use the initiative system uses playing cards, where the DM just hands out a playing card, and that sets the initiative, which is really quick and handy. So anyway, Savage Riffs, highly recommend. Riffs Ultimate Edition, if you want some sick art and other fun stuff about the Riffs world. But anyway, that's Riffs.
Just so you know, I think we're not getting the Facebook comments, if there are any.
Oh, okay.
I was checking it. Didn't even seem like you were live on Facebook.
Okay. Well,
Huh.
I'm seeing an X. We might need to
Investigate.
investigate for a moment.
Okay.
Sounds like a good time.
You want me to switch out and take a look?
Yeah, maybe. Reynolds, do you want in?
We are not live on Facebook.
And I will step away for somebody else to hop in here.
Mr.
Or
Reynolds.
Nick. Maybe we should keep a consistent Nick.
There must
stream.
always be a Nick.
Mhm. Yeah. You gonna go here?
I don't know. Where am I going?
I don't know. Why not let's pull another raffle real quick.
All right. Sounds good.
Let's do. Want to do the whatever this is, the mausoleum thing
You
miniature.
should do that. Yeah. Sounds good. It's like it's
Necropolis.
how to raise the dead.
Yeah, this nice mantic necropolis miniature brought to you by the Army Painter.
That's pretty
You
slick.
can paint it up for your vampire themed RPG. Got 2 of these to give away.
Nick, I think I found something.
So let's say Caroline Horn.
I think so. Yeah,
Caroline Horn.
Caroline.
Congratulations.
Nice job. You have won a necropolis, miniature sized.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like
it's a
that.
hefty miniature.
Yeah.
You can always use a necropolis. You're always going to find yourself in some kind of
In need of a
crypt,
necropolis.
tomb.
Yeah.
It's a common place
getting a
for
little
role-playing
dark.
games. Yeah.
Oh, that's Caroline again.
Oh wow.
Sorry,
She
Caroline.
went heavy. She really
She
wanted
wanted
that thing. Yeah.
She got it.
Yeah.
This
Worked
is
out.
this one ticket. Lauren Garcia.
Lauren
All right.
Garcia.
I believe that's your second win.
Wow. Nice.
You get a necropolis.
You've got a necropolis as well. All right. Who wants to sub in for me?
Do you want to?
Bo.
Where
I'll
we
do
put
it. Riff is the only RPG you guys have I've ever played in my life.
Well, you
Well,
can talk
maybe
more
you
about
can
Riffs
talk
if you
about
want.
what you like about playing.
You can talk about whatever you want, Bo.
No, he
No,
cannot.
you cannot. You absolutely cannot.
I've got some jokes.
Oh, gross. It's
so
me
what's
and
the-
Bo.
So I'm watching this video.
Back in the third.
Hey.
It's just like very
At least this is the 1930s.
options.
His membership to our page site.
That's,
Both having
As you should. so what do you want to talk about, Bo? You want to talk about riffs?
I've played Riff. Let me see what else they have that they absolutely never played.
You ever play West End games, the Star Wars?
I did actually play that in 1996 because I'm old. But the West End, that's the one where they put back out the
It's
the
that
30th
one.
anniversary edition.
It's right there on the table.
Where did I see this?
Well, so that would be like when we're first starting up the stream.
This is me looking at all the people that could have handed us that book.
Stream.
That's all right. I need the
started
exercise.
to get up, and Bo also started to get up.
So this is a collection of, I think, the
The old school West
player's
End.
guide and then the
the equivalent of the DM's guide. So
I would believe that.
I have it, so yeah, I can
Alright.
verify. I was just looking at it the other day.
Did you ever
You know, when they were creating the EU
Yeah, so it went
for
through that,
Star
and
Wars
it-
way back when, they actually
connected
sent
it,
Timothy's
did
on
pop
these
up
books
to-
to look at.
Oh,
And
nice.
These contained more lore about Star Wars than Star Wars did.
I guess that's probably fair. What I remember about this game is that much like to bring it back to Riffs, if you were a juicer or one of the character classes that came with some kind of anchor around your neck that made you slowly get worse,
it might have been because
I was a
that had already
I don't know, a fake Han Solo. So
Okay. Yeah.
started off with debt and whatnot. But I remember having we were on Tauntauns and we kept having to do what's called an orneriness roll, where the animal would become upset with you,
Okay. Right.
and it went very poorly.
Mhm. Did it spit on you?
We were on a hot plant with Tauntauns, so it's probably our own fault. Yeah,
But you didn't. Did it spit on you?
no, it just kept going the way we didn't want. I
Okay.
think the DM was just kind of messing with me, to be perfectly honest. The Western
DMs aren't
game,
really known to do that, though, right?
it depends. Some DMs look at it as a contest, which is probably when you find yourself with the wrong DM. But I'm not sure this was put out for nostalgia 100% alone, but it definitely is nostalgic for people that. Well, it says 30th anniversary, so you're not a young pup if you played it before.
Right.
But the Western game, the system wasn't like Palladium intricate on some of the things, but it was not like there's no fudge dice. You were not playing Fate or
Right.
something like that. It was it may have a little bit more charts, and I mean the DM can obviously shed whatever they need to, as they always should. But did you enjoy the West End version?
I never got to play it. I just read the book all the time as a kid because I was a giant nerd.
I find that hard to believe.
Sorry. Correct.
I did
tense.
most of that with the Palladium games.
Uh-huh.
I had Ninjas and Super Spies and everything they put out. I had all the Robotech and the Macross stuff.
Yeah.
Kevin Long did great artwork for those. The artwork is decent in these. As far as Star Wars fans back in the 90s, a lot of people, probably much what you're talking about with the Timothy Zahn. I had a lot of friends that were into Star Wars that bought this just to get the deck plans,
Oh yeah,
compendiums, and
that was all the Star Wars you could get.
yeah, there wasn't a whole lot. There was and then the miniatures they put out were not fantastic.
No.
And they had a Star Wars miniatures game at the time, Legion, which you can get at Superscript, is a good miniature game. The old Star Wars miniature game wasn't great, but it had ATSTs and AT-ATs.
Ooh, hey.
Yeah,
Legion's
those are
not
pretty.
badass.
Those are pretty beefy. But Legion's 40 mil, and I think that was like 28 mil on lifts. It was a smaller game at the time. But
What are we giving away next?
that's not for me to decide.
Do we want to give away some of these bunnies?
Yeah. We can split those up too. We don't have to give them all away.
Hit
at
my
once.
mic. Sorry, everyone. I believe this is the Herringon. It's like a funny pun.
Yeah, I get it. Let me see here.
Herringon.
Oh, okay. Here's the bucket. There you go. Ouch.
Whoa.
That was, hey, I'm sorry.
Goodness.
I'm a large man, and these.
Okay. If somebody actually could grab me the Dungeons and Dragons Monsters of the Multiverse book, which is, yep, you're looking like right at it. I'm going to pull the first name. Nope. Oh, you want to read this name for me, buddy?
I will read this name. Alex Carafalt is what I believe it says. Or is it just Carfault? Okay, I added the vowel.
Congrats,
That's-
Alex.
So, if you need a stat block for your Herringon, you can find it right here in this book. This is a newer, if not the newest, D&D reference book. It contains several classes and several reworked monsters to kind of streamline the way the stat blocks work. This is a really cool book. I've been a real big fan.
Is that a DM only book, or is that a book that a normal player would buy? Or I should say
Well-
normal player, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's a reference book. So there's character classes, or I'm sorry, there's races in there for the characters to use, but there's also monster stat blocks. So as long as you can separate monster stat blocks from like your actual play, then It's for everybody. But if you have some trouble with that, maybe not.
All right. Is this like the old monster compendiums used to be, but without the three-ring binder?
Well, so we actually do have a monster manual, a couple monster manuals for 5th edition so far. This is just kind of like a reworked one. Oh, here we go. Boom. That's the first one that came out.
Oh, you got the beholder on the cover.
So, but yes, you can find the Hair and Gone stat block in that Monsters of the Multiverse. I wonder if they timed that name
with the Doctor Strange release.
Yeah, what do you think?
It's on Disney Plus this week. I did watch it.
It is. That's the next Hair and Gone.
Admit one. Shannon Sullivan. Is that person already cleaned up earlier?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, because it's not the same bucket.
I'll get it. It's just going to be me passive aggressively talking about how I'm picking things up.
I've got a bad back.
I'm not seeing that.
Yeah.
Do we want to do one more Hair and Gone? Are we dividing that into 2 Hair and Gones or?
Yeah, let's do one more Hair and Gone, and then we'll talk about something else, or somebody else can open it for us.
That seems fair.
That's a Nate.
Nate McCloskey.
Hey, Nate.
Hey.
Yeah.
You get a Hair and Gone. And some paint, of course.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I think
there's
there's
painting contest kits.
I think there's about 6 colors in there. You look on the back, it tells you what they are.
Okay, yeah, these are the
8 colors, I'm sorry.
But it's the Vallejo Paint. Those are good. I don't know if they're full-size droppers, but that's still very nice.
Yeah.
Little cups.
That was some of the first paint I got when I started painting miniatures. And
Was Vallejo?
actually, the Dungeons and Dragons sets.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I cut my teeth on.
It is good paint.
Yeah.
I assume these are from their model color line, rather than model, or I'm sorry, game color line, rather than model color, which good stuff. Oh, and brushes in a water pot. But I think the water pot's like,
It's got to be a small water pot.
I think it's like a vacuum formed, like if you're buying a Hot Wheel car and they didn't give you the cardboard. I mean, it's one of those kind of things. But nothing wrong with that. It will still hold water.
As long as it will still hold water.
Oh, that's its function.
All right, what else we got to talk about over there? We talked about D&D a little bit. We talked about Star Wars a little bit.
Yeah, most of my experience with the RPGs were like the Steve Jackson games, GURP, Toon, a lot of the.
Are they still making GURPS?
The last GURPS supplement I bought was decades after I had played the game, and it was they made a Mars Attacks GURPS supplement where you could be both the Martians and just the victims and dogs that get obliterated. So I don't know how or why anyone would choose to be the humans.
That'd be fun.
Perhaps. I
to be the Martian.
Yeah, I didn't play it. Mars Attacks, I think, came out around the same time when Mantic was putting out the Mars Attacks grid-based miniature game, which is very solid.
Only mildly related to this conversation. Our kitchen is Mars Attack themed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Are you doing it off the Topps cards, or are you doing it off the movie?
Kind of a mix of both, because we have the female Martian.
Okay, yeah.
So we have just some stuff.
The Bit Martin Short.
Yes, the female Martian, the Bit Martin Short.
They all do. Okay, nice.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, I've squeezed every ounce of knowledge that I have about RPGs, other than they come in books. But I can keep them. Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
I'm still here.
Do we have any beer left?
Yeah.
Could we get 2 of them?
You've got it.
All right. So
Somebody's in trouble.
yeah. Well, no one may ever know, because right now, Nick is diligently working to figure out how to get the stream back on Facebook, which may or may not happen. So we may only be on YouTube. So, well, not no one, but only YouTube folk may know.
That's the place where I generally hang out, so that's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Fair enough. If we had to pick one. Yeah, if we had to pick one. YouTube works consistently. Whereas
Thank you, Christy.
we often have a hard time splitting the screen to Facebook. But with the potential that we could get back there at some point where we are on both, I'll use this opportunity to talk about guests. Guess what I'm going to talk about?
Star Wars, your favorite franchise.
If you had to make a second guess.
Star Trek, your second favorite franchise.
That would be it. Except for part of it, which I will not correct for professional reasons.
Mhm.
But it's time to talk about the best role-playing game and system.
I had a lot of fun playing Star Trek.
This guy had a lot of fun playing Star Trek.
Me.
How much Star Trek had you watched before we started playing the Star Trek?
Oh, jeez. Well, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, which means I
Take us back.
saw original episodes every Saturday. Well, usually kind of nodded off. I didn't really watch it. And then when Next Gen came out, I probably watched a handful of episodes. So I was not a huge Star Trek fan. Like, familiar with the ship and the teleporting and the...
Yeah, I don't call it that, but it's
Teleporting, I'm sorry. That's how much I know about
All right. Well,
Patrick Stewart. I knew about Patrick Stewart.
Yep.
Worf.
we call him Dad, but yes.
Oh.
Worf also a character.
Data. He has a cat.
They all do the teleporting. No. Anyways, so you may have guessed how I feel about, or you may have shocked here, and I have told you whether you wanted me to or not. And the Modifius Star Trek Adventure is one of my favorite role-playing games, not just because I love Star Trek, but because it is one of the best systems I've ever played. Modifius uses this system or a modified version of it in several of their games. They use the 2D20 system in, I believe,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure John Carter does. Yep. I think Conan does.
Conan
as well.
uses it as well for sure, and Dune, the new Dune RPG. We have some Excuse me, this beer is making me belch into the microphone, which is not a pleasant experience for anybody.
But we think it's funny.
Yeah. But we have both some Star Trek and some Dune stuff to raffle off, so we'll get to that in a minute. But I just want to talk a little bit about why I love this system and why I love this game, and some of the new products for it. So one of the things I love about it is the character creation system. It's called the Life Path character creation system, and it's a really efficient zero session for those of you familiar with a zero session. And it takes your character through Starfleet Academy and to becoming a skilled member of a ship. But it also uses a system in which you kind of blend. You're going to blend two different attributes. One is something inherent, like your level of daring or strength or agility or something like that. And then one is a learned skill, like piloting or engineering or the con. Anything you would use in Star Trek. And every check is based around taking two of those things and meshing them together, and that gives you a number that you need to succeed by rolling under on a d20, and that equals a success.
Under, right?
Yep. And so you can use more d20s to roll under and get multiple successes, which more successes means a better outcome. The thing I love about it is it uses a system called momentum and threat. As you roll more successes than you need to do something, like say you are trying to do a relatively mundane task, and you roll several d20s and you get several successes, those become momentum, which are something the other party can then use and spend to get more dice when you want it. So you're constantly refilling this pool of potential dice. You to do things like gain information. So like if you aren't actually a astrophysicist, but nothing about astrophysics because your character would, you can spend that momentum for the GM to give you some information. But sometimes you run out of that momentum and you still want things to happen. Well, the GM has what's called threat. So if you don't have any momentum to get more dice or to keep the initiative in combat or do any of the things momentum can do, you can give the GM threat, which they can then in turn spend to make encounters more deadly or add additional complications to the mission and so on and so forth. And the reason I love it because it's a game where if you really want something to happen, you can make it happen. If you are like, look, I have the stats to make this statistically likely, but it's important to me. I have this idea and I want to see it come to fruition. You can burn all of your momentum. You can spend a bunch of threat. You can make it happen, but then you're going to create a whole bunch of other problems potentially for your group, and it gives them a lot more leniency, which I think is really cool.
One of the things about threat is that I almost feel like threat is a bad word for it because it sounds antagonistic, and I feel like the relationship, at least in our game, wasn't antagonistic. Like, we know that giving you threat allows you to make things more complicated for us, but it wasn't like it didn't feel like we were penalized for something.
Nothing like another
It was like a
layer
dramatic
to B plot to the episode, or something like that, where like now there's an ion storm, or something. Yeah, I think it's really cool. This is like my desert island, I think, even more so than D&D, which is saying something as a guy who's been playing D&D my whole life. One of the other things I like about it is that it's really built for episodic sort of stuff, so you can do every episode kind of like a TV episode. And then I just think Star as a setting creates a lot of things that's a lot of problems for RPGs. Like, for instance, splitting the party is like a huge pain in the butt on D&D.
Yep.
It's real, right?
Yep.
Well, what if they all could transport?
Or communicate via
yeah.
You
badges.
mean some sort of teleportation?
Yeah, similar
ray.
to teleportation, but
Okay.
transport. And what if they could talk to each other so you didn't have to be like constantly reminding them, like, you can't hear that person who's idea because they're not in the cave. They went to the tavern.
Yeah.
You could just be like, you know what? They could be in either place whenever they wanted. Like, and again, I can't stress this enough. Transport.
Driving.
Driving to that location in their space cars. And also, there's, Starfleet is like a pseudo military organization. So there's a command structure. Well, they're not really a military. I mean, they're explorers. But there's their command structure to a starship. And having the characters be the commander and the one person being the number one, and there being the structure, it just does solve some problems about like, well, we have to reach consensus
Less
on
hemming and
everything,
Yeah.
and it can even create really interesting stories that are more interesting when people disagree.
Yeah.
When someone says, "I don't want to do that," that's like a bigger deal because they're telling their commanding officer they don't want to do that. It's not like two people arguing over who's going to get the treasure. Finally, one of the things I love about it is I love the way that you progress in the game. So, much like D&D has like leveling up, where you just get, your character grows more powerful. Well, Star Trek Adventures doesn't have that because you start the mission as a competent, officer of this like elite, power in the galaxy. So, you're not like learning how to get better at jumping or something.
Right.
Throughout this.
Right.
You are just already really good at stuff. So as you can change your character and you can change the way they operate and increase certain stats and lower other ones, or sometimes even just raise stats across the board. And you do that by challenging a belief. So at the beginning of every session, if you choose to challenge a belief, you can say, I'm going to not use this skill that I had access to, or not this ability I have access to. My character is going through some pathos. And if you make it through the whole episode or the play session without using that particular ability or skill, you are allowed to make a change to your character at the end of it. Successfully challenge your belief, which I can think of no more Star Trek thing than like your character levels up by questioning, picture of, their morality or their perception. So this is a cool time to get into this game. Because also, there's the very good rule book, which also, if you just like Star Trek, this is just like a cool book about the Star Trek universe. It's great. Like it's really
one
well
of the
done.
better things about licensees.
But this year we also released the Rules Digest. So if you want an inexpensive version of all this, this is $41 of this. It's pretty awesome. It's hard to beat. And then we have the Game Master's Guide and the Player's Guide that come in these absolutely sweet, like digest size hardcovers. The Game Master's Guide has a ton of good stuff, particularly like a bunch about like how to create Star Trek stories, which is rad. And the Player's Guide has a lot of stuff that's pulled from the supplements that come out over the years. So there's been a supplement for like Command Division and the tactical division and the engineering and or sciences, excuse me. But
Teleporting.
Turn it toward the
yeah, so this has got a bunch of new, like how to play as different races and so on. So what we're gonna raffle off today, all that's for sale at Superscript Ohio Comics and Superscript Comics and Games. Yeah, Brian's gonna get those out of there. We are raffling off the Star Trek Adventures core rulebook, the Klingon. So it's like the core rulebook that I explained before, but what if it was written from the perspective of them?
And you have to speak in Klingon to play.
That is the rule.
Mm-hmm.
No, you do not.
Make...
But if you were like, hey, I want to play in the Star Trek universe, but instead of all this like, hey, we're Kumbaya, Starfleet, everybody needs to get along. And what if you like trying to spill some blood for KLS and
So would that be like before next gen?
Oh, I mean, this is like throughout the history.
Okay.
You could, so you could be a Klingon when they are allied with the Federation and fighting the Dominion, or if the parts where there's Yokin fools and
Something like I would like to add that something that I really liked about this game and something that actually challenged me while playing it was I come from a D&D background, so a lot of solutions in D&D, like whatever D&D game you're playing is you hit, right? Like kill that thing and then the problem is solved. And in Star Trek, that's not necessarily the answer.
Yeah, if you're playing as the Federation, you don't always want to hit things. In fact, it's kind of perhaps the prime directive of not hitting things. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it ends up being calls for it. But you get to do a cool Star Wars punch with both hands like that. Or Star Trek punch. What is wrong with me? Oh no.
I thought you did that on purpose.
I didn't.
To just be like, yeah, we're going with that.
Anyways, but if you do want to solve problems by hitting them and be in the Star Trek universe, the core rulebook, the Klingon Adventure Tree, this is a limited edition version of the core rulebook that is put out in Klingon.
It's a wonderful game.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, anyways, without further ado, we're gonna raffle up.
You also don't have to solve the problems of spin and physics to play Star Trek.
You have momentum
Don't get
to do
sucked
that for
into
you.
that.
Yeah. But
All
you
right.
can.
What do we think here? Megan Nellen?
Looks like no.
Megan Nellen. Congratulations.
Headed to the Klingon Empire.
I will quiz you on everything I just talked about when you come to pick up that book.
Nelson.
Oh, Nelson?
Yeah, that's
Megan Nelson.
Sorry.
That makes more sense than Nelgan or Neilgan, which are not I've heard. And then,
Christine, would you like to hop in?
well, we're on a roll. We
Okay,
talked about how
no,
great the
that's fine.
2D20
That's
system was.
Okay.
The 2D20 system.
I didn't want to hog the spotlight. I mean,
No,
I
no,
know what
you're
the
good.
people are calling for, but we
Ryan
don't want
is
to give it to them
contractually
the whole
obligated
time.
to be in at least 2 hours of screen time when we do these.
I should have read paperwork.
Yeah. Well, talk to your agent. Sarah. Yeah. So this came out last year. It was like much like I tested this game. It's really good. It uses the 2D20 system I just described, but it is set in the universe of Dune, a grim, dark future where there's only one. Nope, that's the other thing. This is there is sand and there is spice and there are great houses and there's political intrigue and fear is the mind killer.
And there's worms.
Big worms.
And Elmo, right?
Yes. From the YouTube that I have watched.
Yes.
This is a really cool game. It's a very unique setting to play in. And what better time than now, where you can purchase the Dune soundtrack and also just have like playing the entire time that you and your friends are playing. Lots of whispering in the desert. Yeah. So the spice must flow.
I haven't played this one, so I don't.
That's really good. I mean, if you gotta like Dune for it to be good, but I assume if you put a ticket in the Dune RPG book, you are like interested in playing in that universe.
I would hope so. Especially if your name is Kyle Wells.
Kyle Wells, congratulations.
Yes. Kyle Wells said Ryan is the best, by the way. So I think.
Yeah. Well, inside job.
I hope that doesn't cast any doubt on this.
All right. With that, we could probably sub someone else in. Who's ready to go?
Yeah, I'm
Get
getting
this
too
guy
old
out
for
of here.
this.
Teleport him away. He will. Never let you live that down.
You, sir, did a Star Wars punch.
What we call a prequel. I'm running out of jokes, guys. All right. Christine, you want to hop back in? Someone get on the chat?
Nobody
Someone get on the
rush.
chat?
All right.
All right.
I have returned.
Yeah.
Can I interest you? Thank you. I'm
Hello.
incredibly bad at this shit.
All right. What are we talking about next?
Do you want to talk about anything next?
We talked about the ones I've played.
Okay. Well,
Um,
sounds like you need to play more RPGs. Really let me down.
I know. I'm slacking. I
You want to talk about anything you
I
want
never
to
work hard enough.
No, you are one of the lazy people.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the. I don't know. You like Numenera. I'd like to hear more about this.
Okay. Can you grab that other book that's over by it? Yeah. So Numenera uses the cipher system by Monty Cook, which is kind of a rules light system that I really enjoy. Numenera I like for the setting more than anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the cipher system a lot. It's one of my favorite systems. Second to probably the 2D20 system currently. But Numenera works, is kind of based on Arthur C. Clarke's third law of sufficiently removed from time, something or other, technology seems like magic. So in the world of Numenera, civilization on Earth has risen to a technological apex 9 times, hence Newman, and collapsed. And now you are on Earth, our Earth, but Earth is a different size. It's closer to the sun. The sun should have exploded a long time ago. There's like a whole list of like things we know to be true about the current Earth we are on. And like at least one of the previous civilizations could time travel. At least one of the ones was like interdimensional aliens, like so on and so forth. Whereas this to you, you're just kind of this like starts like any like fantasy, RPG. You are exploring this world. It's like, medieval level of technology generally, except for the Numenera, which are relics from a forgotten.
And there are people?
Yeah, you're a people.
No, the Numenera are people?
No, they're like stuff.
Oh, okay.
They're
Yeah.
like if you like found like if you raided a tomb in D&D and found like a sword that was magical.
So is this Horizon?
Yeah, but what if Horizon had like Horizon Zero Dawn, the video game, I think is what Christine's referencing,
Yeah.
not the Forza Motorsport series. But the Numenera. So like if Horizon happened like 9 times in a row, over and over
Okay.
and over again.
Right.
So, I really like this game. The cipher system's rad. If you want to
What do
play,
you like about the cipher system?
I like that it's like simple and easy to learn. You create your character by like literally like writing a sentence. Like that's how it starts. Which is awesome. The setting is what I come to this particular one for, but the cipher system I like it because it's like very adaptable to different games. Speaking of which, there's also the Origin, which is a cipher system game. This is new this year. I think this is rad. This is like if you are a comics fan and you've read J. Michael Straczynski's Rising Stars, or Rising Stars, it's pluralized, right?
I think so.
Ryan says yes. And if you wanted a superhero game that is not like, hey, you're Wolverine, but hey, what if a bunch of people got superpowers overnight and the government was like not okay with that, in a sort of X-Files-y sort of conspiratorial way, this is the game for you. And it's pretty cool. And I don't know if there are rules to turn into mist in it, but
What about Chris?
yeah, I mean, potentially some sort of vaporous object, or non-object rather. But yeah, worth checking out. Very into it.
Yeah, if you want to be hunted, perhaps.
Speaking of
Much
which,
dangerous.
I didn't grab a copy because it's actually in the window and it's kind of hard to reach right now. But there is a new Hunter the Reckoning from the World of Darkness. That came out later this week. And that's supposed to be very, very good. Think we should give something else away?
I think we should.
All right. What else do we have left? to give
I think
away?
we have more Harrigans.
Heron gone.
Harrigans.
Hearing
Z-
gone.
Rabbit
Hair
guy.
today, gone tomorrow.
All right.
That's what they are. You go ahead and pick Elliot. I have mixed them up sufficiently. First kit.
Caroline Horn. Caroline Horn.
Did Caroline already win a Harrigan?
Who pulled the previous Herringon?
They're looking at them.
No.
They're looking.
No.
All right. Congrats, Caroline.
Caroline, congratulations.
All right.
All right, we got two more Herringans to go. Would you like to pull that?
I
one?
would like to pull the next one. This goes to Nate McCloskey. Did he already
He
win?
already
Nate's
won.
already, you want to hear a gun.
Okay.
We run a Herringon.
All right.
All right, so the next Herdiger goes to
Nathan Hack.
Nathan Heck. Hey, Nathan really wanted one of these. That's awesome. All right.
Congratulations,
There you go, Nathan.
All right, Elliot, you get to pick the last one.
The last Hager Google. Mark Herman. Congratulations, Mark.
Woo!
All right.
Mark. All right.
All right. What else do we have to raffle
I think
off?
we have these, right?
We already did the miniature Necropolis.
Yes. Yeah, the
Oh, and I did
Necropolis
too.
is
No.
our
We didn't
give
hear
it
Oh,
away.
I'm sorry.
The Necropoli.
Did we not?
We did. Nick
did?
and I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
I know
getting
that.
conflicting.
No.
All right. I just heard Bo shout no. So. All right.
Because
So
Bo's upset Bo didn't win.
this is the final item, of which we have two. This is really cool. Roll and Told Volume 1. Christine, tell us all about it. Christine, read the back of the book.
Okay. So this is 5e compatible. So if you're familiar with the D&D 5e system,
What's that?
what's the D&D 5e system? It's like
We can't make Christine explain.
it's
that.
the fifth
sorry.
edition of D&D. D&D has gone through five. This is the fifth iteration.
What is time?
So anyway, if you're familiar with the current rule system for D&D, which actually we're supposed to be getting an update, right? D&D.
Yeah, like a sorta not quite 6th edition sort
Yeah,
of thing.
Yeah, but
in like
currently, if you're
3
familiar with
years or
our current 5e system, this is compatible. And it is a collection of mini adventures. So the collected edition contains all the adventures, mini adventures, comics, and articles from issues 0 to 6, along with extra content you couldn't get in single issues.
It was released in like comic form.
Yeah,
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
This might be the coolest thing.
provides hours of pick up and play campaigns designed for both players new to the table and people who have played for years. So if you have a bunch of skill levels, you should pick this up. Also, the art, I will say, is very beautiful. So I will flip the pages for you. But first of all, the front, pretty. This is one of my favorite color schemes. And then inside, it's purple. It's also got beautiful color.
We like purple here at
illustrations.
Superscript.
I
It's kind
do.
of our thing.
but nice illustrations inside, like the spider.
It also doesn't have a bad odor to it. No,
Correct.
Somehow
It-
those books you open like
Yeah.
the first time they got that.
It
kind of
does
place
smell
on it. This
pleasant. I will
smells
say
like
the
a-
pages
smells like a
the
tome.
pages smell pleasant. So who's gonna
Individually
win
perfumed.
this first pleasant smelling page book?
You know, I'm sorry I said it.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm gonna find out who's gonna win this first one.
Oh, it's fireworks season. We heard it began outside just now for the next
Caroline
2 months.
Horn, you
Caroline
are
Horn.
cleaning up
Wow.
tonight. Well done, Caroline.
All right, I'm gonna really give this a good shake.
All right, because Ellie's gonna pick the last Rolled and Told, Volume 1. 7 full adventures, 5 to 6 hours. 6
Is that the
mini
last
adventures,
thing?
2 to 3 hours. I believe so.
John Casper
Congrats, John Casper.
or Casper.
Or Casper.
Spar?
Spur. I don't know.
Well,
Congrats, John.
John, thank you very
With an
much.
H.
We will be in touch. Well, we have a giant stack of RPGs we could talk about, but we already gave all the stuff away. So I
Yeah.
think we'll save it for next year when Elliot once again tells you why you should be playing Star Trek Adventures. And also, yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of cool stuff that came out this year. When we were talking to Kyle Wells's in the chat's earlier question, one of the games that came out this year that's like stone cold awesome, The One Ring came out, which is a just a really, really lovingly done Middle Earth based RPG. And
Which we are fans of the Middle Earth here.
yeah, we you may have guessed the people who own the local comic and game store like
True.
J.R. Tolkien's books.
Accurate.
But the art's really amazing and the system's really good too. So that's worth checking out. The Root game we didn't really get a chance to talk about. I'm going to leave you guys with one more thing. Actually, this was a book. I have two more.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, Nick, why don't you join Elliot for the end here? Nick,
I'm here.
I'm Captain Kirk.
Nick K, why don't you
What?
join
Oh, wait,
Elliot
no, I
for
can't.
these
I'm
last two?
indisposed.
Nick is furiously
Doing a joke.
photoshopping
Oh,
things.
okay.
Hold on.
You know
It's
what?
important.
That's fine. I don't need anybody. I'm just going to talk about a bunch of RPGs as long as anybody's listening. Boyer's back. Thank you, Boyer.
I'm
So
here to fill a seat.
Ryutama. This is like sort of a Harvest Moon-y sort of RPG. It is
Beautiful.
translated to the States for the first time. All the art looked like it's straight out of Final Fantasy Tactics. I love everything about it. It seems really good, really chill. I would be interested in running a game in this system. Absolutely. This I wanted to talk to Bo about, but Bo is somewhere else at the moment. But The Troubleshooters is worth checking out. That came out this year. This is a spy-fi. Bo likes spy-fi. I don't know if anybody heard that. A spy-fi RPG that's gotten a lot of love. We have the core book, and we also have the first module for it, which is the U-Boat Mystery. And yeah, this thing's awesome. The art in it's amazing. Really cool game, top to bottom.
If you're a fan of, Blade Runner,
Yes.
the terrible cyberpunk game that I actually really love. Not the same system. That's up here somewhere. the video game that came out was terrible.
But you
Dude,
like it? You're a
I-
fan?
I
Okay.
against all
I may play that demo from PlayStation Plus, so I'm getting there. But Hack the Planet's awesome.
pick the planet.
It's very, very good. And then I think the last thing we're going to talk about is just what Nick is losing his mind. I cannot wait to see what Nick has done to my face in a Photoshop form. Thank you, everybody. Sorry for the technical difficulties. If you weren't able to watch us on Facebook, you're not seeing this, so I guess I'm not that sorry. But next time we'll get the stream stuff figured out. This is another deep book. This is Critical Role.
Critical Role. Fun show. If you have
Nick,
8 hours a week to dedicate to it.
let us know. There's a lot of time. Hey,
It's 4 hours, but I
Nick,
do-
are we still live? Nick
Yeah.
has gone catatonic with laughter. I'm good, whatever. You
Are the winners being emailed tomorrow or
The
tonight?
winners will be emailed tomorrow because it is 11:13 and we have been at work since 9 o'clock this morning. So tomorrow. Nick, are we saying they can pick up their prizes tomorrow or are we waiting until Tuesday?
Picking up the prizes?
Yeah, because Sean, who's not here.
Oh.
They're all labeled.
I think, yeah. They
Yeah,
can
they're
pick
all
them up.
labeled.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Pick
well-
them up by the end of the week, though.
Pick them up by the end of the week.
But on a more serious note,
Mhm.
if you're a fan of Critical Role, especially the second season,
This is for you.
this all takes place in the in Jorhas. It's
Right.
it's a pretty fun setting. It's like goblins, dark elves, like all the monster species of D&D.
Mhm.
They're kind of the civilized part of that.
Oh, okay,
continent.
cool. I like that. That's a cool. Yeah,
It's like goblins, dark elves, orcs.
I'm not super familiar with Critical Role, other than a lot of people have like a deep and abiding love for it. So
I think it's pretty
it's
good.
one of those things I need to get into. Yeah, I mean, live play podcasts and stuff have always just been a thing that I haven't been able to find the time for. But yeah, I dabble in like the Adventure Zone and stuff. But I know this is like the one I'm supposed to check out. So I'll get there one of these days. But yeah. Anyways, Nick, can you take us down?
Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks for all the love.